Good morning, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Married to Sports podcast. Hopefully, this episode is more entertaining than the Ravens Dolphins game last night. With me, as always, I've got Diabolical Rodney and Corey. How you guys doing this morning?
We're
Doing
doing
good.
better than the Dolphins.
Good.
Boy, that ain't no joke. Speaking of, so let's just jump right into it on the Dolphins. That is a dumpster fire and a half. I was horribly, horribly mad. Got actually beside myself on how mad I got at Coach McDaniel last night. Third quarter, you're down one score. Tua's not doing anything. He looks terrible. The fans got paper bags over their head. They're booing. At what point do you make a change? We don't. So, if you guys have anything else you want to add to that, takeaways, whatever, y'all go. Y'all have the floor because that was a horrible ball game.
Well, I woke up this,
It was, and it started right off the bat. I mean, you look at it. Tua gets that one pass to the receiver, fumble. Ravens start off at the 11-yard line with the ball. I mean, you they let go of their GM
I was
today,
I
but
was
they
going to
kept their
say that, and
coach.
that leads me into my question. You know what? The GM can only put the talent on the field. That's what their job is. At what point does Mike McDaniel have to take ownership and lose his job after that performance compared to the GM?
Well, by the way the Dolphins said it this morning, he's safe the rest of this year. They don't have their bye until the 12th, week 12. So
But to that point,
you
Corey,
know
I agree with you. However, look at how many teams have, honestly, fired their coaches on the bye weeks and rode the rest of the year to see what they could do. Why wouldn't Miami do that if they already
that is why
fired the one key part, the GM?
that's why they're a dumpster fire.
Brandon, Dio, what's your thoughts?
Well, I mean, I agree with the GM firing in the sense of, maybe he should have already taken care of McDaniel and got rid of him. Maybe that's part of the problem. There might be some politics being played out in those offices, but McDaniel doesn't look like a coach. Tua doesn't look like a quarterback. You got a great running back there. You've got some good wide receivers. Um, you know, I look back at how they went into Atlanta, and beat them 31-10. It was 31-3 most of the game,
Yeah.
you know, and then they come out Thursday night against the Ravens, which I feel the Ravens are about to go on a run. Lamar had a great game. I mean, overall, the Ravens looked good last night. I mean, even their defense was coming up big, holding them just to 2 field goals. However, at this point, if you already just let go of your GM, looks like you're going to be finding a new GM heading into the next year's draft. McDaniel needs to go. Why don't you go ahead and just start having a fire sale and getting some good draft stock heading into this? Because you're going to be rebuilding. Either way, you're rebuilding with a GM. You're probably going to have a new coach. You might as well give a new GM and a new coach some draft picks. Jalen Waddle would be a great pickup for a lot of teams that are in playoff contention heading into this halfway through the season point. You got a running back there that you could probably get some good drafts for. I'm just saying you're going to have to start over. I mean, why not? I mean, they haven't been in contention in a while. And like I said, Tua, you gave him that contract last year. Y'all figure it out, but that's a no go. I don't think Tua would be any better on another team right now at all. He just does not look. As long as he's been in the league, he does not look like he's salvageable as a starting quarterback.
He's a
That's
deer in headlights. He's a deer in headlights.
Well, and we all know there's been that health issue with him. Last week they said he had a swollen eye, but he goes out there and looks like a world beater against the Falcons in Atlanta. But I think some teams need to be picking up the phone and start calling the Dolphins saying, "What do you want for this guy? What do you want for this guy?" Because there's some teams out there with one or two needs that they could probably get some collateral. and it helped both organizations out. One for the team heading into the playoffs that have the potential playoff possibility, and then the Dolphins can just start fresh. Maybe keep a couple of those quarterbacks that are on the bench in house, and then go after a quarterback. Just start rebuilding it. But that's my opinion.
My Cowboys could use
I've
Bradley
been saying
Chubb
that all
right now.
year.
I mean, I'd take
Dude,
that.
there's like I said, the Dolphins have
Yep.
some good players on that team, but they just don't look like a team. But I think
I have to give the Dolphins credit on one side of the ball. That defense, last night, for as bad as their offense really shot them in the foot, to only give up 28 points, I was actually impressed with that. I mean, I know that's 28 points, but it could have been a
Well,
you
lot
had an
worse.
interception, 2 fumbles. You had 3 turnovers at least I can think of right now.
Yeah.
That I mean,
Yeah.
I think they got 7 points off each of those turnovers
Yeah,
on a
and
short field.
the
So,
defense absolutely kept them in. When you're in the third quarter and it's a 14-6 ball game, and Tua literally has just pooped the bed all game, why do you not make a change and say, "Hey, man, let's throw the kid in there. Let's see what we got." At this point, it is too late. I'm with you guys on you gotta sell everything, but now you got to see if you've got anything in yours, or you've got to see if he's got any draft stock or trade capital. Sorry, trade stock. There's a team that can use him as a backup, I'm sure, but you've got to let him show it. At this point, you can't go around. Not the defense kept him in that ball game. They played lights out. Bradley Chubb did a great job. I thought Judon was kind of non-existent, but they did a great job containing Lamar. They did a great job containing Derrick Henry. That, what more can you want for your offense has got to play their part. And like Dio said, then they scored on turnovers. Like if I was at GM, I would not have let McDaniel walk back in that locker room. He would have been done on the sideline. And then obviously the GM was gone this morning.
So we all are in agreement that the GM firing is because he did not make the moves that needed to be made, firing McDaniel or making trades to better their team.
He's been a GM since 2016 there. What have they done since
That's my
2016
that's my point
since he's
for
been
it.
there?
That J. Ram Johnny Smith trade looks really
And
silly
then,
right now.
Well, you also have to look at the coach that was there prior to McDaniel. He still has a lawsuit involved.
Brian Flores, yeah.
Yep. So, how much of that was the GM involved in that? So,
I mean, right now,
Yeah. And the GM's the one that signed. The GM's the one that signed Tua to an extension, and he doesn't look like he deserved a 1-year contract, let alone whatever he
Or
got in
to
the
take it
extension.
to NBA terms, he doesn't even look like he deserved a 10-day contract.
Tua had a good year. He did have a good year.
He did have a good year. I'm just saying this year he's that up and down is just
He's not been
horrible.
he's not been the same since he got that concussion. But that's what I'm saying. Last night, when you're in a one possession, when you're in a one score ball game, you have got to go make an adjustment. At what point? Like if you stop me once,
Ewer should have been off
if
the
you
bench
stop me
last
once,
night.
that could be an anomaly. You stop me twice. All right, now it's starting to become a habit. You stop me a third time, it's time to make a change. I've got to make an adjustment. There's not enough drives in the game for me not to make an adjustment.
To your point,
Yep.
Brandon, when we were on the live, what did I say on the live? You remember I said, where did Tua start throwing these darts in the third quarter, hitting these guys? Then he threw that one long dart where it went to the feet right when I said it.
Yeah.
Still, that was part of the adjustment process. At what point you're a coach, first quarter, all 4 quarters, you still have to adjust some within the game plan. It's not all going to hold through all 4 quarters ever, is it?
Well, no, that's what I was saying. That first half, Tua's the starter. Man, you got that first half, you mucked it up. Okay, maybe you just had a bad half. Let's go out there, let's go in there, and let's make some adjustments. When I think it was 9 minutes to go, it was already they already had 2 3-and-outs. With 9 minutes to go, they had already had two.
Yeah.
I think it was 9 minutes to go, 9 or 8. They had already had 2 3-and-outs. At what point? And then they stopped the Ravens twice. Defense did their job. Right there, I make that adjustment. Ewers, get warm. The very next 3-and-out, Ewers, get warm. That second 3-and-out was enough.
Because it wasn't like
We've had a whole half and 2 drives of you playing poorly. Go sit and think about what you did.
Well, either there was one of those situations where they told the GM to fire McDaniel and he said no, so they said it was him, and then they would reevaluate McDaniel at the end of the year, or maybe McDaniel and the GM were at odds on putting Ellinger in, or Ewers.
Yeah.
Ellinger's in Denver.
Yes, they're both Texas quarterbacks, but that could have been the reason why Ewers never saw the field last night, because the GM probably told McDaniel, under any circumstances, you're not putting him in. And if that was the case, and that turned out to be true, they could have told the GM, you know what, you're out of here.
And listen, I don't want to start a Ewers beef, but I just want it to be known. Ewers is not.
But what I'm saying is, though, you last night were questioning, why are you not putting him in?
Yeah.
And look, not to bring back in the baseball here for a second, but you remember in Moneyball that manager and Billy were always at odds.
Yeah.
About who to play when. And the manager says, I'm not playing that guy. And he said, put him in. Oh, and you know what happened? The manager ended up leaving. Yeah. So,
Traded players.
Well,
Yeah,
he
traded
traded player
players.
first. Yeah, he
That's
Now
traded
what
you
I'm saying.
have no choice but to play him.
There could have been some politics in there.
Yeah.
Where McDaniel wanted to put him in, and the GM saying, nope, we're paying Tua. He plays.
I'm with you. I'm with you on that.
And that's there's a lot of back room politics that we don't get to.
Yeah, we could sit here all day and talk
knowledge
about it.
of.
And, we'll never know the story.
Yeah, and and that's just ridiculous. I mean, as a fan, it's ridiculous because you put the best product you possibly can on the field. It doesn't matter who's getting paid the most. If you really want to win, you put the players that are performing and the players that aren't sit on the bench.
All right.
But unfortunately,
And I just want the
some
podcast
teams
people
don't do
listening
that.
to the podcast to know. I just want them to know real quick. Ewers is my least favorite quarterback. Just say.
Right. But none of us are fans of the either one of these teams. But we all last night watched the game together, and we were all saying, you got to put something different in there to see if it sparks that offense. See if the backup or even the third string could come in and get something going. Because Tua, he's not it.
And did
Okay.
Ollie Gordon go out with an injury? Okay.
Oh yes, he did ankle injury.
Yeah, but some of the calls,
But A-Chain was
That's
doing
what-
decent. He did
some
decent.
of the play calling was questionable, but for the most part, some of the plays they called were really good against that defense. But Tua could not get the ball where it needed to be.
Right. No,
It looked
like that yard dart
he,
Yeah.
that he threw. Wide open guy, and he hit him
he
in the-
looked really bad, and that's why I don't understand why you didn't make an adjustment. That's the thing. Like, you have to have that part of your ship steady. All the other ones you can plug and play. We've seen it with Baker Mayfield plugging in receivers. We've seen it with freaking the whole San Francisco defense and offense. Them plugging in players and making it work. You got to try something. You can't just sit around and do nothing.
Yeah, we
Okay.
can beat the Dolphins up all day, and we can talk about the GM being gone. But
Last thing
my personal input about it is, though, the Ravens went in there and took care of business. They looked good on all sides of the ball, and I think the Ravens are about to go win the AFC North.
Hey, one last thing on the Dolphins. Their coach, instead of looking like an NFL coach, I think he needs to go back to Best Buy. He's part of the Geek Squad.
Yeah. Him and his
Okay.
little white kids and his little capri sweatpants, man. I was like, what is that about? Like, did you come out of the workout gym or something?
I've got a question for y'all. You know, Dan Marino's part owner of the Dolphins now. Would you be opposed to bringing him as a GM to see what he can do?
I wouldn't be opposed to bringing him back as the quarterback.
But you get my point. I mean,
Yeah.
at what point do you go
I
out?
always felt. Here's the thing, though. When you're part owner and you start playing GM into that, there's going to be some bias there, and I think that's too much power in decision making if you've got other owners involved. So I would like them to keep that. If I was a co-owner of that team or a minority owner, I would be like, no, you just stay part of the ownership, and that's it. You know,
Hey, just
Yeah.
look at the Cowboys. Owner GM doesn't really work all the time very well.
Yep.
So, but yes, the Ravens did look really good last night. I'm right with you on their deal. I think they're getting healthy at the right time, and we're getting ready to see just like Kansas City, getting ready to see a run with them.
Now hold on now. Before we start crowning the Ravens, they
I'm not
still
crowning them.
they still had a tough time against that defense in Miami. And so
Yes, they did.
there are better defenses, the issue, and I understand where Dio's coming with this, is because his defense is long in the tooth. They're looking slow. I understand that. Cincinnati seems to not have one that exists, and well, the Browns we wiped them in the morning. So I can understand, but they still have a tough schedule. I mean, you still got I believe it's the. I know you still got the division left, which those are always tough to play. And then, if I'm not mistaken, I think he's got two, Kansas City.
Mm.
Hang on.
They have Green Bay.
Green Bay.
They have the Vikings. They have the Vikings next. Then they have Green Bay, and then they have one other team. But hear me out. Do you know that an 8-9 team in the AFC North can go to the playoffs? Which still could leave my Steelers in play because I said Tomlin may have his first losing season, but he could still go to the playoffs. But really, I don't see the Steelers beating the Ravens either game.
All right.
They've got the Browns one more time, and they got the Bengals twice. I mean, honestly, that's 5 wins for the Ravens right there to add to their tally.
Here's a question.
Oh, it's
Here's a
Patriots.
question I have for y'all.
The Patriots, that's who it was.
Which division is the worst right now? The NFC East or the AFC North? They're
AFC
both
North, come on.
underperforming.
AFC North. AFC North's the worst. They're all just about losing records. Steelers are the only one with a winning record right now. I mean, we've all seen the Steelers. They suck.
The NFC East is the same. It's just the Eagles with
Bears
a
have
winning
a
record.
win, or not the Bears.
But you know something from last night that just really kind of surprised me. Just looking,
Yeah, sorry.
Derrick Henry had 119 yards. Am I the only one that didn't realize he went over
No, I
100
knew it.
yards? Because it didn't feel like he had
a good
100
game last
yards.
night. He had some great runs.
Yeah. I just didn't. It wasn't Derrick Henry like what we were expecting. Like
It's
he was like
like
last
that-
year.
It's
It just-
like that game.
Miami was stopping
Huh?
the run when they were at the goal line, and Lamar found a tight end every time.
Yeah.
It's like that game the other night we were watching.
It's just-
I forget what Jordan Love against Pittsburgh. Remember I said that when did Jordan Love throw for 360 yards? I mean, yeah, he hit a couple guys, but the way he played, the way the game was going, it didn't seem like he had that many yards. I know what you're saying about the defense, but I'm saying when you look at how he played, it didn't feel like he was.
Where Jordan Love got all his yardage was he'd throw a little dump pass off for 8 yards to his tight end, and his tight end would run for 80 because they kept trying to tackle his arms and his upper torso
Yeah.
instead of going for his legs. I mean, it was the worst, clinic of tackle football training I've ever seen in my life.
I agree, but that's just how
I
Derrick
was just like I
Henry's
said.
stats were last night. That's why he equated it to.
Henry had 2 big breakout runs last
Yeah.
night. I could,
Yeah, I know he had the 2 breakouts, but I'm just saying it. It just seemed like it was maybe it's because Lamar threw the
Yep.
4 touchdowns. Why? But it just seemed like that was a quiet 100-yard game last night. I'm like, looking at the stats, I'm like, what? He had over 100 yards rushing. I was like, whoa. But you're right. Every time they got down by the goal line, he was throwing to his tight end. So, it makes sense. It was just, when I seen it just now, I'm like, what? I was just kind of like a what? Like Rodney's
Say
what?
what? There you go, Corey.
yeah.
Thank you.
But so I had the Dolphins covering that game last night, and I ended up losing that for sure.
Yeah, you're the only one in our group that got that wrong.
Thank you.
So I had you guys do some homework last night, and you guys want to start with running backs, or you
Mine's
guys want
already
to start with
done.
quarterbacks?
You know what? I think we're going to have more of a discussion with the quarterback, the quarterbacks and the running backs. 'Cause I think a lot of us are going to pretty much be the same on that running back thing. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. So, but
We can go ahead and get the running backs out of the way, and then we
Whichever one
can
you
put
want.
our main content on the quarterbacks, because
Yeah,
there's a lot more
Yeah.
going on with the quarterbacks than there is the running backs.
I agree. Dio, you want since you're on the box up top next to me, you want to start,
Well,
and then I'll go to Corey and
Uh,
then
he-
Rodney.
or him. Oh, him.
so look, your usual suspects for the running backs: Jonathan Taylor. We've all been talking about him. He's having a hell of a year.
You got him at 5 or
You know,
1?
I put him at 1 for the fact that the Colts have only lost 1 game, and
Okay.
they look complete as a team all around.
I didn't know if you were going
So-
top down or bottom up.
Now I'll put Jonathan Taylor at 1.
Okay.
And when I put this next guy here, you got to think of him as an individual and not the team he's on. I think Bijan Robinson could probably be one of the top rushers in the league if he was on a different team besides the Atlanta Falcons. That kid is the only shining thing they have in Atlanta right now. Their quarterback, between Michael Penix Jr. and Cousins, it's that's becoming a dumpster fire, and I don't know if Morris is going to survive the season there, as far as the coach goes. But Bijan Robinson, I mean, I only put him at 2 based on what I've seen his runs this year, his talent. I think, he would be definitely top 2 if he was on a different team than the Falcons. But I got to give him some props because he's on the Falcons, and they're not very good. But then James Cook in Buffalo would be my number 3. I think he's taken a lot of pressure off of Allen. He's been a great, little wideout for a receiver, and he's made some incredible runs. He gets, he's having a good season. Christian McCaffrey is 4 for me. I think he's carried a lot of the weight on his shoulders out there in San Francisco with all their injuries. He does pick up a lot of blocks to try to protect those quarterbacks that have been banged up between Purdy and Jones. And then, this guy used to be, I never really thought much of him when he played on the Ravens, but J.K. Dobbins, he's having a good season. He's really doing a great job.
Yeah.
And that's who I have in my top 5. But my quarterbacks, man, I'm all over the place. I have a lot to talk about that after we get to them.
I like your list, Dio. I do have a couple different than you do, but because I do see what you're saying about Bijan, and McCaffrey has been pretty much the one constant in San
When,
Francisco this year.
When
So
McCaffrey's healthy, he's a top 5 every year.
Yeah.
I mean, I would take him in a heartbeat. But I'm telling you about Bijan Robinson. I would love to have him on the Steelers. Could you imagine him in a run style that the Steelers try to run?
I
That would
imagine
open up our
I
game big
imagine a lot
time.
of us have Bijan on our list, and a lot of us have him pretty high up there.
Yeah, yeah. Go
You're
right ahead.
absolutely right. I mean, he's a stud.
Yeah. Yeah, go ahead. I'm good. Go
my
ahead.
list is different because a little bit it has some of the same, but I went off of the guys that are this year, that just the rushing yards and stuff. Obviously, at number one is Jonathan Taylor. Number two, I've got James Cook. Number three is J.K. Dobbins. Number four is Javonte Williams. And number five, this is where I had a hard one, but just based on the way he's ran this year, is Rico Dowdell. The 200-yard games. Bijan and Christian McCaffrey are right off that list, but it's just because I went off of rushing yards this year. So that was my top five.
All right. I was all over the place with mine. But this is going to be a sweep here. I have Jonathan Taylor number one because he's leading the league with 12 touchdowns. And he has helped solidify and make Daniel Jones what he is, setting the tempo with the run game. I went James Cook number two because he's got 7 touchdowns and averaging 6 yards a carry, and he is the perfect scheme fit for the Josh Allen defense. Offense, I mean. Number three, I went Javonte Williams. In the offseason, we didn't know what kind of run game Dallas would have. He's
Hold up.
that type of guy.
I told everybody.
No, I'm saying as an outsider, Brandon. You didn't know what kind of run game they had because y'all had struggled in the run game last season. Javonte Williams coming off that knee injury the last 2 years, he's able to get those yards up the middle that's hard to get. And he has solidified that run game. Number 4, I took Derrick Henry. Because Derrick Henry is that guy you want in the clutch to get the yards, to run out the clock. He's going to get your touchdowns normally. But why he's number 4 on my list this year is he's had the 3 fumbles. He has been fumbling a lot. Fifth, it was very hard for me. I could have went A-Train. I could have went Bijan Robinson. But I'm going to go J.K. Dobbins. He's really a great running back for that Denver. He is built like Henry in a sense that can get the tough yards, and he can break outside, and he can catch the ball really well. That's my top 5.
So I'm gonna start from the bottom up, and at 5 I've got Javonte Williams. And he took the 5th spot over Derrick Henry because of the fumbles. Well, Javonte Williams, I told y'all last year coming out of Denver, is when he came off injury, that he was a really good back. He does everything I wanted to. Number 4, I have Gibbs. Jahmyr Gibbs is like that. He is lightning in a bottle. He can break the big one, but he can also get off tackles. He's got good vision. 3 is CMC. The reason I have CMC there, if you look at his all-purpose yards and touchdowns and what he's doing for that San Francisco offense, now that he took that year off last year, this year he has been that workhorse. He's an every down back. And so for me, that takes him above Gibbs because Gibbs is not an every down back. Javonte Williams is an every down back. That's why he took my 5th. Number 2, I agree with you, Dio. I don't know how you guys don't have Bijan in the top 2. He is arguably making a case for the 1 spot, except for he plays for the Falcons. He doesn't only juke people with his legs. He does it with his eyes and his arms and everything else. He's elusive, and he can catch out of the backfield.
dude, he's the hands down one of the best running backs in the game right now. And then obviously number one, we all have Jonathan Taylor. I've been high on Jonathan Taylor ever since he came out. I make sure I draft him every year because when he's healthy, he is that every down back. He's gonna bust right through you. He's gonna make you miss. I like JT a lot.
So, who's you got any pushback for any list, Brandon? Or
No, I mean I looked at Cook's touchdowns and I saw it, but I also seen the film on Cook, and he's been able to run through some big holes. He's got good vision, but when you got holes opening up like that and you can go, you can go. I'm not going to take that away from him. He does have, I mean, he is good, but he's not. He doesn't fit the mold for me. What was you had a running back on J.K. Dobbins? He
Yeah.
was up there. He has an argument to be made. I liked him in with the Ravens last year, and then with him being in Denver, I put him on my fantasy a lot. So I don't mind you guys' list. Derrick Henry, because of the fumbles, he just couldn't make my top five.
That's why he wasn't on mine.
and you
And
know,
look, previous years, I would have had Derrick Henry on that list, period.
Yeah.
But Derrick Henry, butter hands
Well,
the
you know,
past few years. For some reason, he
the
did.
sad part is on my top five, that one thing, one reason I didn't have Bijan, and it has nothing to do with it does have something to do with him, but it's not anything that's his fault. It's because of that team. You know, I went off of basically statistics, you know, the rush yards and stuff. And the reason I had Rico at 5 is just because of the 200 games. I mean, he's not even really started this year, but when he's got the chance, he's shown he's that
Now, see,
kind
I
of
didn't
back
mind
this
the
year.
Dowdle. I did not mind Rico
Unfortunately.
Dowdle being on the list because of the 200-yard games, back-to-back 200-yard games. That's hard to do. And he's not a starter.
Yeah.
Man. So I was with you on that one. I wouldn't have had him in my top. I didn't have him in my top 5 because he doesn't have the resume that Javonte Williams hasn't missed a game yet. Gibbs, he's got Knuckles
Yep.
behind him, but he's behind him. You know what I mean? I'm still watching Jameer Gibbs slash their defenses.
Yep.
CMC, he's out of the backfield. He's running the ball. He's catching the ball. They are utilizing him because he's the only talent they had for a little bit. Like everybody was hurt. But Bijan, he's had almost 200 yards from scrimmage. He's almost averaging 200 yards from scrimmage. That is impressive. And to be able to make you miss with your eyes,
It is.
with your head, your legs, and move, the way he's able to move and still hold on to the ball is a gift. Like that is a unexplained. God gave you that. Nobody can take it away from you. You're the only one that's got it. You don't teach that.
J.K. Dobbins was in my top 5 only because I was shocked, to be totally honest. Because when I went and looked at stats, I honestly did not realize he had as many rushing yards as he does this year. I was just like, and he's another one that does it quietly.
Now, Dio, you have an excuse because you weren't here at the beginning. But Corey and Bird, y'all have no excuse. We can go back and play the playback. I said Javonte Williams and Jaden Blue. I said J.K. Dobbins. I have been
got them in my top 5.
Hold on.
high on them. And y'all act like I didn't talk about them preseason at all. Dude, y'all are shocked.
wait, I'm not. Hold
Yeah,
on, Brandon.
on the podcast.
Hold on. I did not say. Hold on.
Yeah,
I
you
did not say you.
Wait.
The way
Wait, you
others
sound shocked.
football
You sound shocked that Javonte Williams is a good running back.
I didn't.
What?
I wasn't shocked. I put him up there because I knew. Once
Well,
I
the
told him
argument-
what he-
I'm more shocked at the
But the
holes
reason
he's
I
left for
argue
him.
for Bijan at number 2 is because Corey, you were snipping all around it. You got to look at the potential of Bijan Robinson if he wasn't on
Yeah.
the Falcons, which is what my argument is. Put him
Yeah, I
on.
agree
Put
with
him
that.
on. Put
That's
him on the
only
top
reason.
10 team of records this year, and then imagine what he would do. He would probably be. He might even be Jonathan Taylor
he'd
numbers
hit
if he
1,000
was on a
already.
different team, and that's my argument for him.
Yeah.
Because,
I agree. I agree
so
with that.
that's. I mean, I'm not.
I was just
Look, I'm
going
not
off
knocking your
stats
list at
this
all.
year.
I'm not disagreeing with it, but you know,
I would.
Oh, I definitely take Bijan over. I actually, out of my list, there's three that I would take
Yeah,
Bijan over, and that is Rico, J.K. Dobbins, and probably Cook. If I had a chance, I just
yeah,
went off the
I
stats.
agree with that.
I went off
So
with stats too. I mean, but
you
I
know,
wasn't shocked what kind of. I know you've been saying it, Brandon, about Javante Williams, but to the fan outside of Dallas, a lot of people were saying, what kind of running game are they going to have to help Dak out? That's why I said
So
what I said. It
Rodney,
wasn't.
I had a lot of film on those two backs.
so Rodney, you know, have you ever noticed when I go off on somebody in some of the lives when they just spit a bunch of stats and numbers at me, and that's their only justification as to why this person is this person, and I sit there and go, well, Jesus Christ, if this guy from this other team got to play on a team that guy's playing on, his stats wouldn't be even near where this other athlete is on this other team. Like you take the running back from Miami last night.
Right.
Imagine him on Tampa Bay. Imagine him on hell, even Jacksonville. I guarantee you his stats would be higher than what he's got at Miami right now.
I
And
agree.
that so whenever you bring up stats on trying to justify a player, sometimes I'm going to call it out because
No,
I'm just sitting there going, hell no. This
I,
other guy
I agree.
that plays on a shit team, and that's where the eye test comes in. You know, you can see what he can do on a shit team. Imagine him on a decent team.
Yeah.
Right.
Stats won't matter.
well, I don't.
My only knock to Bijan Robinson.
Talking about the stats don't matter.
Go ahead, Corey.
Talking about the stats don't matter is I know we're going to be doing quarterbacks, but I will be surprised if this one person is on anybody's top five. And this quarterback has a 15 touchdowns to one interception.
I'm not putting Jalen
and
Hurts
he's
in my
not
top
on my
five.
top five. Thank you. You knew exactly who I was talking about, Brandon,
I
and
looked
that's
at
what
that.
I'm
I
saying.
said,
By the eye test, like Theo said.
listen,
Thank you, Corey.
Isn't that
you get it. Rod
I have a
gets it
list
too.
that I looked up, and I wrote the top 5 quarterbacks on every single one of those categories. You know, Hurts came up in the top twice.
Yep, I know.
Touchdown to interception,
Yeah.
and the 20 touchdowns. But when it came to touchdowns in the air, guess who wasn't in the top 5? So,
Yeah. It's funny that you knew that right off the bat,
boy,
Brandon.
I do this. We're talking about y'all are in my wheelhouse now.
Oh hell! Don't
That was
sink
the
me,
best
Brandon.
Here's
So I went
here
last.
we go.
I went last.
Can
I'm going to be the first
can
to
I
go
start
on
it
my
off?
quarterbacks.
Okay.
And coming in
Go
at number
first.
6, Dak Prescott. I'm just kidding. Dak did not make my top 5, but Dak, I just want everybody to know, Dak has a really, really good argument. The reason I took Baker at 5 and not Dak are the fourth quarter comebacks, and Dak pooped the bed in the last game. Baker's been doing it with not his number 1 and 2 receivers. His touchdowns are nice. His yards are a little under the 2,000 mark. When I say a little under, I'm talking like 50 yards under the 2,000 mark. So he checks all the boxes for me. Baker Mayfield, number 5. Number 4 is Daniel Jones. And I know some of you guys are going, how can he not be higher? He is Jonathan Taylor carrying the load too. I think those two really work well together. Daniel Jones has revived Michael Pittman's career. He is playing excellent ball and playing at an all-pro caliber level. Number 3 I have is Drake May. Drake May coming in his second year has been everything I wanted him to be. He has New England rolling. They are doing a great job. Mike Vrabel does not get enough credit up there in New England, but Drake May is really coming into his own. And when you put the film on, it looks really, really nice. Number 2 is Stafford, and I have Stafford at number 2 because, and I know he's got Puka Nacua and Devontae Adams. Puka went down a little bit, but I know that's a little unfair. But he can still sling the rock, boy. Ooh, boy. And then at number 1, I have Mahomes. And it's about to get better.
All right, Corey, you want to go next?
Who Who's up?
All right. I'll go ahead and go. I got Patrick Mahomes number 1 because he steadied the ship through all the injuries and suspensions he's had. Number 2, and this is going to be really shocker, Dak Prescott number 2 because he's got one of the best touchdown to interception ratios. He had been very inconsistent other years, and he's coming into being a consistent quarterback. Number
Who'd you have
3,
number 1? Who'd you have number 1?
Mahomes.
Mahomes. Number 3, I got Baker Mayfield because I put him a little higher than you, Brandon, because he had not been playing with his full core of receivers,
Mhm.
and
And
he
he lost a
still
bunch of
keeps
yards.
winning. And he's making these young rookies like Ted Johnson look like seasoned All-Pro vets. And then number 4, I got Daniel Jones. He stabilized the franchise. He won out against Anthony Richardson, and ultimately he has shown that
You
he's
know what? Do you know why he won against Anthony Richardson? Because at the
I'm not
tryouts,
saying I know why, because
Listen,
Anthony
no, in the
Richardson was the
preseason,
problem.
no, in the
Anthony
mini
Richardson
camps,
was the
yeah, in the
problem.
mini camps, when they were going up against each other head to head, Richardson tapped out of that too.
I
That's
know.
why he got the start.
What I'm saying is he came in and
Rod, I'm just
honestly,
giving you hell. Rod,
I
I'm
know
giving you hell.
you always do. Stop it right now. Let me get back.
It's only
Then
5 names, Rodney. You already gave us 4. It's easy. What's the 5th
at
one?
number 5, I got Drake May. Ultimately, when not seeing a sophomore slump, he is with Josh McDaniels and everything he's got working with. He's going to be that long-term quarterback of the future for the Patriots.
All right, go Ray.
You know what? The funny thing is I'm sitting there talking to Brandon,
You
and my
had
thing
Dak or
was
Baker
muted. It was hilarious.
at number
Hmm.
2? Rod,
He
I
is
had
back.
that.
you had Dak at 2, Baker at 3?
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, when I did mine, I did a lot of stats, but I also was thinking about the players for the teams.
You got Aaron Rodgers in your top 5.
My number 6, my number 6 was Matthew Stafford. So just let you know that. But 5, Baker Mayfield. What he's doing down there, obviously, everybody sees it. You know, the comebacks, everything. Number 4, Patrick Mahomes. You know, even with Kelsey dropping balls and not having his best wide receiver, he still has put up elite numbers, and he's just that kind of guy. Number 3 was Drake May, for the simple fact that Drake May has taken a no name receivers and making them legit. Number 2, I took Dak Prescott because we seen what he meant to Cowboys last year, you know, without him there. Number 1, I did take Daniel Jones only because Daniel Jones is finally in a offense that meets his needs. He's got the running back, he's got the receivers, he's got the tight end. He's just having one of those years. It might be just a Sam Darnold year, but that is what he's doing this year.
Who
And
was
that's
your
my
2,
top
3, and 4
5.
again? I'm sorry.
2 was Dak, 3 was Drake May, and 4 was Patrick Mahomes.
Okay, so we all agree Mahomes is in our top 5. We all agree that May is in our top 5. But we don't all agree that Mayfield's in the top 5. Okay, all right. So y'all like to look at stats and that sort of thing, and I do too, but I don't always put that in there. One thing I do look at is on the season as a whole, because we're talking about this season.
Mm-hmm. That's why I took
Dak
Baker
didn't
over
make
Dak.
my top 5. Dak did not make my top 5, even though he's got the number 1 QBR rating for the season so far. And I know it sucks, but you know, I look at Dak sometimes, and I'm kind of like, you know, he missed that pass, he missed this pass. Okay, so it didn't make my top 5. Mayfield didn't make my top 5 because I've seen Mayfield. He's. I think he's only thrown one interception, maybe two. But watching him against the Detroit Lions in that game a couple weeks ago was something I hadn't seen from Mayfield since college. He looked confused. He looked overwhelmed. And it was all around just a bad game for me to watch him in. And, the Lions are probably going to be the playoff team out of the North. The Buccaneers are going to be the playoff team out of the South. And I look at that, and I'm just kind of like, ooh, that was not a good look for Baker. That's why he's not in my top 5. That's the only knock I got on him. That game really, to my eyes, you gave me I don't know about that. Now, I will tell you that Mayfield's QBR for the season he's at 15. He's at number 15. Okay, so you got to look. You got Dak at number 1. You got Mayfield at 15. So it gives you a sample test in between those players right there of who's sitting where. My number 5 is Lamar Jackson. And I know the guy's been hurt for a few games, but I look at what he did last night coming off that injury. He threw a tea party. Derrick Henry, we go back to the running backs. I think one of y'all had Derrick Henry in your top 5. He takes a lot of heat off of Lamar. And last night, the Dolphins were stopping the run at the goal line. They could not get that first down, or they could not get their touchdowns off the run. So what did they do? They relied on Lamar Jackson hitting the tight ends all night last night. He got the job done. But I think Lamar is just, as long as he stays healthy, I think Lamar is going to be in the playoffs, and I think Lamar is probably going to be dangerous in the playoffs. So he came in at number 5. Number 4, I got Daniel Jones. I gave Jake hell last night over the fact that he won't ever give that guy 1 ounce of credit for anything he's done this year. Yes, I know he's got one of the best running backs in the league. Yes, I know he's got wide receivers. Yes, I know he's got a good defense behind him. But the fact is, nobody else on that field can throw the ball, run the offense, but Daniel Jones. So you have to give the guy credit. So he's in my top 5. He's having a hell of a season. Number 3, Drake May, the usual suspect on our list. Because that's about where I got him. Drake May is playing as a sophomore. He's doing a hell of a job. Because you look at the Commanders QB, Daniels, he's been hurt. But you can definitely tell he's having a sophomore slump this year. He's definitely not, and you can go back to Bo Nix too. Bo Nix he's winning games for the Broncos, but he's having kind of a letdown year compared to last year because people have had more film on him to watch, not his stats, to watch. Defenses don't look at stats and go, okay, we know how to play them. They look at film, and that's why I always say you can spit all the numbers out you want, but I'm looking at film when I watch these players, and it's a future. It's kind of like watching stocks. Where do you think they're going to go? Where they're going to dip based on what defense they play, whatever. Number 2, Brandon, I'm right there with you. Matthew Stafford. Granted, Puka Nacua, Devontae Adams, I mean, they catch some incredible balls. They do. But Matthew Stafford, man, if you want to talk about an old quarterback, he's old, and he's out there balling. And he's got the Rams. I have a feeling if the Rams win that West and they get in the playoffs, I would not want to play them because they're going to be dangerous. And especially if they pick up some good quality trades before the deadline. And if the Dolphins were to decide to go ahead and do a fire sale, I mean, could you add a Waddle out there? I mean, it would just get better. And then number 1, I don't care what the Chiefs' record was at the beginning of the year. I don't care where it is now. There were games, I think week 2 or 3, that Mahomes made some just plays that were just dead in the water. And he turned it into a touchdown. He turned it into a first down. He's tried his little floppy flues this year, to get a penalty, and he's not been getting them like they were. But his athleticism is unreal. I will never bet against Mahomes because that guy will hurt you. And we've been watching it. And I think the Chiefs are about to go on a run. I don't think they're going to give up that West. But that's my top 5.
When we were looking at running backs, the first 2 you and I agreed on. After that, it got a little choppy. The first 4 we agreed on. And so I want to kind of talk to you about your fifth, and the injuries is exactly why I didn't have him on there.
I agree with that.
When I looked at all my different things, I looked to see whose names popped up the most. I had a stronger argument for Aaron Rodgers than I do Baker Mayfield being on my top 5. The reason I have Baker Mayfield on my top 5 is because he has not had his number 1 and number 2 receiver, nor has he had his number 1 running back. The fourth quarter comebacks, the 2-minute drills, the taking command of your offense, the leading your team, the leadership, the poise, the moxie, the tight window throws, you have to put him in there. And Lamar Jackson, I understand if he can stay healthy, but unfortunately he just didn't stay healthy enough for me.
And those are fair and valid points. They are. Because, I mean, I could push back, on a couple of these guys and look at their overall QBR rating for the year as a whole. I mean, that's all your stats rolled into one. But Dak, he's number 1 on the list for QBR. I mean, Rodney even had him in his top 5, but I couldn't put him there.
Baker Mayfield was the only one out of all the stats that I looked up. Baker Mayfield was the only name that never popped up. His name never popped up on any of those.
Yeah, he doesn't get enough credit. He doesn't. He's just outside my top 5.
I understand. I respect it.
All right, Brandon. I got a question for you.
What's up?
Whose list would you push back on if you had to?
So looking at this, so me and Corey had the 5th and 3rd. So we both believed Baker Mayfield and Drake May were the 3rd. I like the argument for Daniel Jones being number 1. I understand the argument for Dak, the film, the stats, what the Cowboys would be without him. But I want to also put in the fact that Javonte Williams is helping carry the load and helping Dak get out of trouble. And for me, that means a lot. When you have George Pickens and CeeDee Lamb and you have Javonte Williams carrying the load for you, that last game I seen against the Denver Broncos, it was enough to knock him out of my top 5.
Here's 2 other names I want to ask you guys if you've even considered and you've been over for a minute. There's 2 quarterbacks. No, not for me. Jared Goff and Sam Darnold.
Yes, I have both of those names written down right here.
Yeah.
I mean,
Goff was.
I mean, you could shuffle if you did a top 10. You could shuffle some of these names 5 through 10.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
But
That's my point. It's kind of like one of those. But let me ask you this: would you have had Lamar Jackson in your top 10?
Yes.
Probably.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, probably.
I have Jalen Hurts in my top 10. Based on these last 2 years,
I'd probably have him 10th, even though.
Here's the thing.
Hold on. We're talking about this season only. This season only.
Okay, so this season only, he has 20 touchdowns.
Take the
This
tush push
season
out of it.
only, he has a pretty high completion percentage. This season only, with his legs, he's tearing up defenses.
Yeah.
He's commanding the offense, and they took away Saquon. He's actually carrying the load this year.
Yeah, he is. And that's why he's just out of action.
So
I have him at
know where Jalen Hurts is on the QBR? He's number 10.
Yeah,
You know where Aaron
the
Rodgers
thing
is
is
at.
that's probably what I would have had him.
QBR?
Yep.
6.
He was number 16 last week. Now he's number 20.
Oh, just kidding.
Or 19. I'm sorry, 19.
Aaron Rodgers actually came up on a couple of my
The
lists.
thing is one thing that when you look at touchdown to interception ratio, Jalen Hurts has got the 15-1. It's just like you say, Dio. It's the eye test for me, and there's just something about him. I mean, I don't know. It could be bias. I'll be honest with you. It could really
Yours
be
was
bias.
straight Patrick hate.
But
You straight up hate Patrick Mahomes. That was straight Patrick hate.
So, but
4?
here's
4?
Who, me hating Patrick?
I mean, you got him in top 5. I'll give you that. But 4?
Yeah, right. You said this year, and I did go off a lot of stats from this year, but
Mahomes.
by the end of this season, I'll be honest with you. By the end of this season, I could see two of my picks being completely off, and I could see Baker or Patrick Mahomes being number one. I can honestly see that. I could see Matthew Stafford coming into my top 5 at the end of the year. But right now, midway point, that's why I went with the top 5 I did. Is I'm just looking
But
at
see,
the
I look
midway
at
point.
but see with Dak Prescott, and what I was talking about a minute ago about Baker Mayfield, Dak Prescott against the Bears, he did not look like Dak Prescott,
Right.
and that was just
Neither did-
it just wasn't
No.
a good game for him. Baker Mayfield, like I said, he looked like a couple of games back in college when he was at Oklahoma, where he just looked overwhelmed and like, he didn't know what was up and what was down. And that's the thing about Mahomes, though. Even when the Chiefs were losing early this season, Mahomes was hitting Kelsey. He was hitting all these receivers, and they weren't catching the ball. Mahomes was doing his part, but the rest of them weren't, which is why I still had Mahomes at number one. Because just watching him, even in a bad game, he still was the playmaker, and he was the only silver lining, as I like to say. There's always a silver lining, no matter what you look at. So that's the only reason, Corey, I got Mahomes.
The other thing, real quick, Brandon. Dak and Javante probably would not be in my top 5 if it wasn't for
That may
each
be
other.
very well true. Because, I mean,
be
I'm going to
totally
be honest,
honest, it
I have
should
him
be.
in my top 5. Well, the reason I have Javante in my top 5 running backs is because I have watched all of his film this year. Does that make sense? And so I've seen all the hits
Yeah.
in the backfield that he's turned into 3-4 yard gains that shouldn't have been. That should have been like 3-4 yard losses.
Yep.
And that, for me, is why
Yep.
I jumped him up there. And it was over Henry.
Yeah.
I have Henry at 6 because of the fumbles. We would have had a lot
Yeah.
more points had Bird's boy from Carolina not have been fumbling all over the place. Stupid Ohio State or Oklahoma State
Yep.
kid. Miles Sanders. He's
Well,
not an Oklahoma State kid.
Yeah.
You're
And that's
welcome.
the thing.
Huh?
You're welcome.
That's the thing. That's why I had both of those. Like I said, by the end of the year it could be different. But Dak and Javante, I've said this for the last couple of years. We'll see the real Dak if we ever get a running game. And we've got a running game at the top level, and we've got
We gotta
Dak
get our
playing at the
O-line
top
together.
level. Now, yeah. So I mean, just like Daniel Jones probably wouldn't be as high, obviously, for me if it wasn't for Jonathan Taylor too. They're complementing each other. You're seeing the teams that are having success on offense, and a lot of them, Bo Nix was just out of
Yeah,
my
Bo
top
Nix.
5. And after looking at J.K. Dobbins' stats, I see why.
So when I looked at
You know.
when I was looking at all these different categories and listing the top 5 of all these categories, the name that kept popping up was Mahomes. The other name that kept popping up was Daniel Jones. But the one that popped up quite a bit that was just outside my top 5 was Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert popped up a lot.
Now, I'm going to add to you right there. Justin Herbert was that one guy that when I looked at all the stats together individually, he was at the top of a lot. But that cannot, if it were a top 10, he would have easily been high,
Right.
probably 6
All right,
for
guys.
me.
We got to get through this Sunday slate. You guys ready?
Sure.
Bingo game right here.
Oh, of course.
Colts at Steelers.
I'm Colts, man. Colts. Daniel Jones and Taylor, they're going to eat Pittsburgh's ass on that field. Aaron Rodgers will probably hook up with a couple of guys, maybe a couple touchdowns, but the Colts are just going to outscore us. That defense is not going to be able to keep pace with the Colts offense. And the Colts defense is not bad either. The Colts have a really good balanced team. I'm going Colts, man. I hate to pick about against my Steelers, but I'm realistic. I see that as another loss, and we'll be at 500, I believe. Yeah, we'll be at 500. We'll be 4-4 after Sunday.
I went with Dio. I took the Colts minus the 3.5.
I took the
So
Colts.
I'm going against the grain. Give me Aaron Rodgers. And here's why. I think the Colts are going to drop a couple they shouldn't drop. I think this is one of them. I think the Steelers are going to have a miraculous season. And I think that Shane Steichen versus Mike Tomlin, I think Mike Tomlin's better. I think Aaron Rodgers versus Daniel Jones, I think Aaron Rodgers is better. They are playing complementary football. They are playing all three sides. I think they drop this one to Pittsburgh at home. Pittsburgh is tough at home.
I don't hate it. I don't hate him, and thank you for pulling for my team. But man, I've been watching the Steelers since I was a little kid.
I get it, but you know what?
If it looks like a booger on the wall, you walk up there and look at it, it's still a booger.
I get it. I trust Tomlin over Steichen. I just do. Panthers at Packers.
I took the Packers. No, wait. I took the Panthers to cover the 12.5.
What?
Wait, hold on. Are we doing
Who are you
spreads
picking to
and
win?
here, or are we just doing
Right.
head
Give me
up
Green Bay to win. Give me Green Bay to win. I always go back to
Rocky,
that
come
week.
on, man. You act like you've been on the show the first hour ever.
What is this? Your first
No.
day? You hit your head
No.
this morning?
You know what? You're back to being the
You got to
coffee
be an
guy.
intern, man, dude. I like my coffee black.
No, honestly, I always look at the ESPN to see what I picked, and I forgot we were doing straight out.
Bryce Young still out?
I don't know.
Yeah, I believe so.
You're a Panthers fan, and you can't tell me if your
I took the
quarterback's
Packers.
starting or
How
not.
do you not know if your quarterback's playing?
I haven't
Oh
seen
my
it in
God,
the garden this
Rod!
week.
Give me
I'm
the
on
Packers at
offense.
home.
Who you got, Corey?
oh, Packers.
That was a long way around the sweep. Thanks, Bird. Saints at Rams.
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 Leo?
Oh, it's a sweep if you're going with the Rams.
Sweep? I mean, I'm definitely not going to go with Spencer. Well, Tyler Shuck is starting this week.
He is starting, but they're in LA, correct?
They're in LA. But they don't have film on that kid. They don't have film on that kid. That matters.
They got enough.
We've seen
They
it.
had some from preseason. They had some from preseason. And here's the thing: if he struggles, they'll throw Rattler back out there.
Yeah. I like the defense on the Rams. I think the defense can hold it. I'm not worried about a rookie quarterback. I've been wrong before. Falcons at Patriots.
Give me the Patriots.
Patriots.
This is a coach firing bowl, I think. I think Morris gets fired after this game.
I disagree, but for reasons I'm not going to talk about on this podcast. It's really hard to see them lose 3 in a row.
Who, the Falcons?
Yeah.
They're losing 3 in a row.
Patriots are at home. I like Drake May. I like that. This is a trap game. Give me the Patriots at home.
Let me sweep this sweep I wrote down off my paper here.
I
Brandon's
said
going
the Patriots, but this is a trap game. Look out. Patriots are known to drop when they
sweeping
shouldn't.
or not?
I said Patriots.
Okay, all right, but go ahead with what your trap. Because I mean, I'm not disagreeing with you, but I don't think it's going to happen.
Bijan Robinson. They
Who
got
do
a
they
better
play next week,
receiving
Brandon?
core. You got a young group of talent. You got a more mature backfield on Atlanta. They really could surprise Drake May a little bit.
And with I'm going to add to your point with Bijan Robinson, if he can set the tempo, long runs, that's going to take that clock down. Like the 3-4 yard runs, stabilize running that clock.
Hey,
What's
you
up?
know what? Real quick, Brandon. It could be a trap game because they have the Buccaneers next week. They could be looking ahead.
I like college boys. These are
We see it all the time. We see it all the time. Teams drop games they shouldn't drop.
Yeah.
I mean, the Jets have a win finally because Cleveland couldn't run the ball. Or not
No,
Cleveland,
the Beng-
Cincinnati.
the Beng- you're right, but Flacco. But here's the thing: Flacco got hurt, and they had Browning in there, and that's when the Jets scored some points because the Bengals couldn't hang on to the ball. They kept 3 and out in it, and then Flacco only came back in the game at the last 30 seconds to try to get him in field goal range. But Flacco's not playing tomorrow or this weekend, more than likely. So whenever we get to that game, let's go to it. But I don't know, man. I don't see the Patriots at home dropping that game.
I hope not. I want to see the Patriots make a roll. What do you got, Bird? Wait
I
on
took
you.
the Patriots. I took the Patriots. I already said that.
It's a sweep.
Yeah.
Chargers at Titans. This should be a sweep too.
Chargers.
Deal.
Sweep.
Bears at Bengals.
Bears for the fact that Browning is playing.
I'm going to take the Bears.
I think that's a sweep. You take the Bengals?
No,
You are not rooting
I'm
for the
going with
Bears.
the Bengals.
You
Yep.
are voting with your hatred and not your common sense.
That is true. That is my
I knew it.
hatred.
Bang Bang Niner game goes to New York.
I don't think the Niners are going to give up another one like they did last week to Houston. I think they just played an all-around ugly game, but I think the Niners go into New York, and we're talking about the Giants, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? It is a noon game, but I think that devastating. I think Tracy's going to do good, but I think the Niners just squeak it out.
Niners.
Niners.
Broncos at Texans.
Have the Texans.
I took the Broncos.
Broncos.
We all sweeping that one?
Nope, I'm taking the Texans.
Texans at home. Why?
Because they played a hell of a game last week against the 49ers that really hadn't changed in the injury room. And I was surprised, but the way that they came out playing and the whole game, I think they may do it again.
That's not a
I think
surprise
they
pick.
I think they surprised Denver because Denver squeaked one out against the Giants in that crazy fourth quarter. And then last week they played like world beaters, and now this week I think they have a letdown. So who are you taking?
I've got the Broncos, but I can see that. I think Bo Nix is making an MVP case.
Yeah. I see the same thing that Dio does. I mean, I took the Broncos, but I could see it. I mean, I had a
It
hard
is a
time
toss
picking
up,
that
in
game,
my
to be
opinion.
honest.
What's the spread on that? 1.5.
Yeah.
1.5.
Yeah, it's just one of those games where
It just feels
my
weird.
first reaction is Broncos, but then I'm like, well, wait a minute, because we've kind of seen the Broncos the past 2 weeks, and I could just see them ooping that game tomorrow, like oops, and Mary's going to be all mad.
4-4, 6-3. I can see that. I can see the Texans starting to make a run in the backseat. They're starting to pull it together. I mean, I don't hate it. I really, it is a toss-up game. I think Vegas has this one right, so I can understand that. Vikings at Lions.
Lions. JJ's not going to be happy
Yeah,
to
this
be
is
back.
going to be a sweep, I think.
Lions.
The fact that you got
I can't pull for Travis's Minnesota Vikings.
the fact that you went and got John Wolford as your backup quarterback to JJ says that you don't have a whole lot of faith in JJ, and there was nobody left.
Yeah, especially that kid Max sitting on the bench.
So that's going to be bad.
Yep.
Yeah, the third stringer, they threw him in a couple of late plays last week, but other than that, they was like, eh.
Yep.
Max Hosmer, I think's his name. I think he's the best quarterback
Yeah.
on the team if they would just start playing him, let him let him get his feet wet.
And that very well might be true. John Wolford has some experience. He technically is a Super Bowl champion, I believe.
Yeah,
I
with
think
the
he was
Rams.
behind. I think he was behind Matthew Stafford on the Rams.
Yeah, he was, and he even had to start a couple games with Stafford injury that year.
I'm glad y'all are starting to see that my JJ hate wasn't just personal.
I wasn't big on JJ coming in. I thought he had a great preseason the first year, but then he got hurt, and then I was like, but I didn't like him at Michigan. I didn't think that
He
was
had
an
a
offense that
good.
you could showcase that
Michigan
you
had
had
a
the
hell of a
ability.
running game.
That's
Michigan
it.
had a hell of a running game. He didn't
Yeah.
have to do much.
That's it. He was able to do a one read RPO, and that was it. So I wasn't big on him coming in.
You know, and the other thing about that is Green Bay let Aaron Jones walk for a reason. One, he couldn't stay healthy, and two, he's not just a every down running back. He's more of the scat back
Well, Aaron
kind
Jones
of
is out, isn't
player. And I think he's back. He's
he?
back
Oh, I thought he was
finally.
on IR.
So
Well, dang, I let him go. I need him back on my fantasy team. Jacksonville at Las Vegas.
Jacksonville.
Jacksonville, I can't bet on the Raiders right now.
One of the
going,
things that really messed me up.
I'm going Raiders.
I am too, and I'm going to tell you why. One of the things that really messed me up moving out to Vegas was Central Time to Vegas time was 2 hour difference. You're talking about a 3 hour difference going to the Raiders, and that's a tough place to play. I think the Jacksonville Jaguars drop one. I don't think it hurts them in the division. This is one I see them dropping, especially since the Raiders have been getting mollywopped.
Don't forget we fall back Saturday night.
Oh, and by the way, y'all, I've been on the ESPN app where we pick. I've been looking at the times of these games. We have no 9:30 game.
No, I was wrong. That's next week.
I'm just letting you know.
Yeah. All right, Chiefs and Bills.
You know, I might be the odd man out. I don't know yet, but I picked the Bills, being at home. I know this is the one that you said, Brandon. Their loss. I don't know why I'm picking it, but I did it the last time with the Bills and Ravens, and I just have that feeling again. If it was the playoffs, I'd pick the Chiefs, but it's the regular season. I've got the Bills.
Bills, because they're at home. I just have a gut feeling.
I got Mahomes going in there and whipping Allen's ass one more time.
I said it before the season. I'm going to stick to my guns. Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes walk into Orchard Park. They beat Josh Allen, and McDermott is on the hot seat.
You did say that at the beginning. That's why I made my comment I made, Brandon. Is for some reason I just feel it, but I don't know. I just want a good game without the refs dictating.
The Patriots winning that division, and I need the Bills to start losing some games. This is one of them. Well, I mean, think about it. They're supposed to be 4-3 right now. They're supposed to have lost that game to the Ravens at home. Seahawks and Commanders.
Seahawks.
Is this going to be a sprint?
They're in Washington, right?
They're in Washington.
Yeah, at night.
I'm still gonna go with the
Sunday
Seahawks.
night game.
So we have a sweep on that, gentlemen.
We got a sweep. Yeah. Cardinals at Cowboys.
Rodney does not get a pick on this one.
Wait, what?
Yes.
No, you
Wait,
heard me.
what?
You're done. You're not allowed to take Cowboys games no more.
Well, this is Monday night. This is Monday night. This is at Dallas. We know what our offense. I don't think they're going to put up two stinkers in a row. I think our offense dictates this, and I think our defense finally gets pressure again. And I don't trust
All right,
Kyler Murray.
we got a 3-on-1 pick in that game. I took the Cowboys. Corey and Brandon took the Cowboys, and Rod took the Cardinals. All right.
Well, for the
Nope.
record.
Nope. There is no for
No,
the record.
hold on.
For the record, you have
For
the
the
Cardinals.
record.
Hey, kick
All right,
him,
so
kick
moving
him,
on.
kick him right now.
So moving on. Tonight is Game 6 of the World Series. I know we made our predictions
No,
last
rude.
night, but
No,
I just
rude.
want to say I really, really want to see the Blue Jays win it, and be done. Do not take this into 7.
Nope. Because that
I'm with you guys. I want to see the Blue Jays. I said that whoever came out of the AL, that's who I was rooting for. I was not rooting for the Dodgers. I just have a feeling tonight being Game 6. Like me and Coach Bacon said yesterday, there's just that feeling with Yamamoto. I want the Blue Jays to win. I think the Dodgers take the game tonight, but I want the Blue Jays to win.
I think the
That's all
Blue
I gotta
Jays get
say.
Yamamoto early, and then they play small ball and work the bullpen because Gossman he's 50-50. You don't know what you're going to get out of Gossman. So
Yes.
if he can get a few innings in him without giving up any runs or minimal runs, and the Blue Jays can jump on Yamamoto because this is the second time they're going to get to see him, then I give them the advantage being at home. And like I said, they'll work that bullpen. They'll empty out their bullpen to try to maintain that lead, especially if they can get up by a couple of runs. Do y'all want me to stream that game tonight?
That's fine.
Okay, that's fine.
All right.
I'll probably go live around 7, and we can watch college until then, whatever. So
So I agree with you, y'all, but I'm going to ask a question here. If the Blue Jays win in 6, is Vlad the MVP of the series, or who do you give it to?
When the Blue Jays win it, yes, he will be the MVP.
yeah, but I can tell you a good argument for that kid, man, that rookie the other night with 12 strikeouts, man, just shutting the Dodgers down in Game 5 in L.A. I mean, the Dodgers needed that game. The Dodgers anticipated going back to Toronto after they lost Game 4. They anticipated going back with a lead to Toronto, and that kid went out there and shut them down. I mean, that was impressive. But yeah, Vlad overall, the home runs, he's made some great fielding stops out there. I mean, one the other night got by him, but it was one of those fluke, the way the ball bounced. But other than that, yeah, Vlad I think gets it. It'll be. I hope the Blue Jays win it overall because I'd like to see him and his dad both have World Series rings. You know what I mean?
I agree. That would be cool. I want it done tonight because I got a feeling if it goes to Game 7, it's going to be the Dodgers.
Maybe.
But with that said, if the Dodgers win, who's the MVP? Ohtani or Yamamoto? Or
they're going to give it to they're going to give it to Ohtani. Come on.
I know they are, but I'm saying in our perspective.
You were hoping I would say Freddie Freeman because he used to be a
No.
Brave, and you love
You
Freddie
idiot.
Freeman so much.
You
You
idiot.
want me to pay for you a Freddie Freeman tattoo? Is that what you're
No.
wanting, Rod?
No, I'm asking.
Rod, I don't even
Right
know
on
how
one
that's
of
a
the
legit
cheeks.
question. I really don't. We've all been watching the series. It's
On
not
one of
even
the
close.
cheeks.
No, I mean, I have been watching the series. I believe Ohtani is the best player, but I'm saying is there another argument y'all can make is all I'm asking.
Well, wait. Well, here's an argument for you. Did you used to run around with Lawrence Taylor and Lenny Dykstra in New York and go to
No.
after parties? Because you're about the same brain cell capacity as both of them right now.
Remember, they're social distancing.
Yeah, that was
No,
great.
they're jousting having to
Tim, if you watch this, I hope you remember your joke last night.
All right,
Rodney's brain social distancing.
we're really quick. Couple second takes. We got two main games on the card tonight for basketball.
First one is Celtics and Sixers.
I'm going Celtics.
I'm gonna go no, I'm gonna go Sixers.
That's a toss up to me, but I have to go with the.
It's in
Where's it
Philly.
at, Brandon? I got to go with the Sixers if it's in
I'm
Philly.
taking Philly as well. They've been playing great ball. I cannot wait for Paul George to get back. Embiid's back to day, so we'll see what happens. But yeah, I like the Sixers this year. I think they're gonna be really good. And then Lakers at Grizzlies is the other primetime game.
Give me the Grizzlies.
Where's that? Is that in Memphis or LA?
LA is at Memphis.
Give me the Grizzlies.
I'm going Lakers on that one.
I got to go Lakers. Austin Reeves has been playing lights
I'm going
out.
Lakers as well, and I know the Grizzlies are at home, but it is a whole lot easier traveling from west to east than it is from east to west. So, yeah, give me the Lakers. Well, that's my team anyway. So, all right, guys. Well, we appreciate everybody.
Hey,
What?
Wait, for the record, I did take the
I
Cardinals.
was just asking
by
Rodney.
the way.
What is there any Pee Wee football on
There
tonight?
is,
Or
but-
anything?
Yeah, there were a couple games.
That was just the only question. Huh?
Go ahead.
Just one question before we left. And I hate that Brandon's got me saying Pee Wee
Memphis at
football.
Rice.
Rodney, you did take the St. Louis Cardinals this weekend against the Cowboys, and that's the truth. That's who you picked. You picked the St.
That's
Louis.
what I really picked.
You picked the St. Louis baseball Cardinals against the Dallas Cowboys in football. Okay? So just,
Yeah.
I set the record straight for you. Just to
Yes.
remind everybody.
You know why? Because honestly, Arizona can get done.
Hang on a second, guys. You got Memphis at Rice, but you also have North Carolina at Syracuse.
North Carolina, Syracuse was where I was going, and I want to see something. 1 second.
Taking
Syracuse.
North Carolina.
I just
I'm not
asked,
rooting for Bill Belichick ever again. That's over with. Burnt me all season.
Hey, Brandon, I thought the same except for one thing. That quarterback that they got at Syracuse now that Angeli is hurt for the year.
He
Yeah,
has
they're
it
at
for it.
Syracuse.
But last night, to give the score updates, Coastal Carolina won against Marshall for 27, and UTSA went out and mollywopped, to use Brandon's word, Tulane 48-26.
Okay.
Yeah, I know.
So I was on the island by myself with UTSA.
Congratulations, you're
Be
king of
quiet,
the Pee
Brandon. Be
Wees.
quiet. Be quiet, Rod.
You know what?
Go
Mike.
eat another honey bun.
I don't look that low. I keep my eyes up.
And open.
All right, y'all. This episode has been brought to you by Heaven Sent Hellbent Gear. Get your HSHBgear.com. 15% off. Enter promo code MARRIED. Styles Apparel, where we keep you in the latest fashion women's apparel. And we get a kickback from Walmart. Go on. There'll be a description below. Click on the link. If you guys do any of your shopping at Walmart, if you want to support the podcast, do your Walmart shopping, and we actually get a kickback from Walmart. Please make sure you to hit like and subscribe. Thank you guys so much for being here. We appreciate it. Peace.